How does a PR professional manage a crisis? So, crisis management is a discipline that falls into PR. And while many PR professionals may never have to navigate a quote unquote crisis, they will likely navigate something that is of sensitive information, something that is more negative in nature versus neutral or positive, and something that requires a point of contact with outside audiences and communication regarding an event, again, quote unquote. So here are some examples of possible crisis scenarios that will require PR support. Product recalls or safety concerns. This can be a major crisis for companies, especially those in the food, automotive, or pharmaceutical industries. If a product is found to be defective or harmful to consumers, it can damage a company's reputation, and the result is it could result in costly lawsuits and any number of things. The next thing is financial scandals. So if a company is found to be engaging in fraudulent or unethical financial practices, such as accounting fraud or embezzlement or insider trading, it can severely damage its reputation and result in legal action. Data breaches, as more companies collect and store personal data on their customers, data breaches have become a major concern. And if sensitive data such as credit card numbers or personal identification information is compromised, it can lead to a loss of trust among customers and potentially legal consequences. This is probably one of the things that we've all received an email from a company that they've had a data breach. The next thing is executive misconduct. If a high-profile executive is involved in a scandal, including sexual harassment, discrimination, bribery, it can damage the company's reputation and also result in legal action in any number of things. Environmental disasters. So if a company is responsible for an environmental disaster, such as an oil spill or toxic waste leak, it can certainly damage the company's reputation and result in lawsuits and fines. In the time of an environmental disaster, where the company is just trying to navigate it, it could impact supply chain. It could mean certain things for the community in which it operates. So again, this is another aspect of an environmental disaster where the company will want to be responsible and have a crisis scenario plan. And then finally, in this example, there's certainly many more, is social media backlash. So in today's interconnected world, social media can be a powerful tool for spreading information and opinions. And if a company is subject to negative social media attention, it can damage its reputation and result in a loss of business. So this is another way where the day-to-day, there probably needs to be some kind of plan in place to address sensitive issues that are brought up on social media, customer support issues that are brought up on social media, all of those things. Now, while much more nuanced, a PR professional will generally follow a few key steps after a crisis has occurred. And those include gathering information. The first thing to do is to gather as much information about the crisis as possible. And this will help you understand the situation and figure out the best way to respond. Assess the situation. So once you have as much information as possible, you'll take some time, but you'll have to do this pretty quickly to assess the situation and consider the impact of the crisis on the organization, your stakeholders, the public, the community in which the company operates, and then develop a plan. Based on your assessment, you'll develop a plan for responding to the crisis. This should include statements, holding statements. It could include a press release. Depending, it could include just key messages for a media junket where you respond to the media, as well as a plan for ongoing communication with those stakeholders. And then implementing the plan. So putting your plan in action, making sure to communicate regularly with stakeholders and the public. And all of these things need to happen as soon as possible. I usually have a standard, depending on the escalation of the crisis, is 24 hours. And hopefully less. 48 hours max. I would not take more time because there's a narrative to just about every situation, and you want to own as much of that narrative as possible. And then finally, you want to evaluate and adjust. So after the crisis has been resolved, or after you have responded to the first phase, you want to take time to evaluate your response and make necessary adjustments to your crisis management plan. So heaven forbid if it ever happens again, or any scenario like that, there are always findings when you go through a crisis. And it's important to remember that every crisis is different. So it's crucial to remain flexible and to adapt fast. And your approach may need to change quickly. So you want to be able to facilitate that change. And preparation and planning, including a thorough vulnerability audit, will help you move faster and align quicker and communicate better, in my experience.